All right. What's up, guys? It's Tracy Mitchell, VA with thisis50.com. I got my special guest today, Mr. Sean Kiez.
What up? What up? How's it going?
How's it going? How you feeling?
I feel pretty good. The sun's shining. It's top of the month, so it is what it is.
Right. I was definitely checking out your press release. You were in different cities, so I'm trying to figure out where are you from, what city are you representing, and where are you actually located right now?
Well, right now I'm in Houston, the city that I rep. I grew up in between LA and Milwaukee, so I kind of both of those are home for me. But I just wave my flag from the great state of Texas now. So I represent the whole state, not just the city, because there's some good people all over the state of Texas.
Well, for sure. You definitely lived in some amazing places. Texas, I need to check that out soon. I guess that's where everybody wants to be at these days, huh?
Hey, look, if you want to live a quality life where the economy stays strong and you can always have different hustles going on, I believe that Texas might be the best spot for you.
I need to hear that. Okay, you guys heard it here first. Well, the reason we have
Yes, sir.
Sean Keys on the call today, he's very important in the music industry. He's always dropping amazing music. He's actually back from a hiatus, and he just released his EP called The Journey. So first off, Sean, I want to ask, how does it feel to have this EP out after taking this 1 year hiatus?
Well, it feels pretty good to have it out because people are able to get to know who I am as a person through my music, right? So I'm giving you some timepiece music throughout my journey that I'm able to share with y'all that I wasn't really able to put out before because I was wearing my other hats in the industry. So now just, give you a backdrop of who I really am so you can understand my story.
Mhm. That's definitely the first question on my list because, I think this is the second time that we interviewed, and still to this day, I often wonder who is Sean Keys. So, do you want to just go ahead and just give us like just some words to put out there that reflects who you are?
Well, it's hard to just put it in words. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole movement. It's a whole action. It's like an energy. Something like the Holy Ghost. It's there, but you could feel it, but you can't see it. Sometimes that's Sean Keys. So for me, it's like the essence of something. Something pure. I like to create a good ambiance. I like to have a good aesthetic with the quality of music that I push out. I like to do quality and upscale things. So that's pretty much Sean Keys in its totality.
Yeah, you're not only a rapper, like you come from corporate beginnings, really.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, what hats did you wear within the industry that you want to talk about and maybe take us down memory lane?
Uh, well, the hats that I wore in the industry to take you down memory lane, I managed JoJo from Jodeci. Um, I helped do pretty much co-managing with Soldier Boy for a few years. Um, what else did we do? I did a lot of brand deals for like Blueface, Amber Rose, um, everybody. Rich the Kid before he got popping and hot. We was working with Rich, getting him brand deals, getting him shows booked. Took Tiger to Brazil for the first time. That was his first time going right before the pandemic hit. So just been hustling, man. That's it.
Right. You talked you said from Jodeci. What song was this that released? Like what
He
song
had
was this? Was
well
this
he
super hot or when it was just like coming off?
no, so it was JoJo from Jodeci. He went single he was a solo act for a while.
Okay.
And he had a record that he released with Snoop. And Snoop, we was waiting on it to get done, and then it finally got cleared so we could put it out. And then that's what we shot the video for that. And then he ended up getting back with the group. So now you see them back together today as Jodeci. But, they brothers and they've been around so long. They had a falling outs and then they fall back in love with each other. So it is what it is. But we helped him establish his own solo brand, even though he was already an established act.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to ask a question about Soldier Boy, but I want to know, being that you did, help him establish like himself as a solo act, did you feel like that experience helped you with your personal music career?
It did because you talking about with JoJo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it did because it helps you figure out different marketing strategies that you can do for your own craft. It helped me figure out like so I'm not coming in as a teeny bopper rapper or artist or recording artist. I don't really like to say rap because I do more than just rap music. So, but it helped me outline, okay, as I create this Sean Kiez, I know which way to go, which way not to go. Just by dealing with different legacy acts, you get to understand the different temperature, and then you get to how to market and find your own audience.
How long would you say you've been in the industry? Like, if you could put a number on it, what would you say?
Over 20 years.
Over
I
20.
mean, I started, yeah, hell yeah. I started out young. I mean, I was like a teenager going out to Cali with my B dogs and my relatives out in Carson, going to deal with Death Row as a teen. And my only reason why I didn't sign with them is because my pops pulled it back because he saw me going off the deep end. Because I really was taking all that shit serious that we was listening to on the radio.
Deep end. You want to like talk about that a little more too?
Well, it was back in those days, not to really date
You gotta tell
myself.
me because I'm born in 1995.
Okay, so you was a little baby when I was running around.
Yeah.
You was a little kid, but it, on the deep end, like, it was a lot of gang activity that was going on over there. It really was death row. Like, it really was what they said it was. So, not to incriminate nobody or myself, I found like by my pops pulling me back from diving all the way in on paperwork and really being down, I think that was the best move I could have made because it gave me the opportunity to understand what the business is from what the streets is. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I was able to, it slowed me down so I could just focus on how to really be effective in the business versus really rapping what you're doing. And I saw a lot of people fall to the wayside behind that.
I definitely like tapped into those stories back in the day, especially with like dealing with death row. I feel like those artists would just get caught up in the lifestyle more than kind of ignoring the business part.
They did. A lot of them did. And the irony of it, a few years ago, I played on the Unsolved with the murders of Tupac and Biggie. That was on USA. So that was pretty cool too. The facts to be around as a little boy around that time. And well, it was right. It was after Pac died, of course, but just to be around that and then fast forward to be actually on the show where they talking about the incidents that happened during that time.
Yeah, how did that feel? Do you feel like they captured it the way that it should have been captured?
I think they really did a good job. They did. They did. It was some good directors. It was a good producers. They did a good job. Yeah. And then they had Mo Preem on there too on set. Tupac's brother helping guide them. They had who else was there? From West Side Connection. I'm looking dead at him, but he's slipping me. But Dub C, he was there too, as helping on set to make sure everything was authentic.
Being that I wasn't in my 20s during that time or that era, I can say that I do miss the authenticity. I feel like a lot of those artists brought at the time. Would you say the same?
Yeah, it was a lot of original music. It was a lot of original feel goods that a lot of people sampling to this day from that era.
The Journey EP. Let's go ahead and just hop back into that. You're also from Milwaukee. So how did it feel to have some artists from Milwaukee on your project?
It felt good. I had two artists. It was my only two features on here. It was Cuckoo Cal. He was a Billboard charting artist for my project. And that was like, he an old school act now, but he's still a legend in the city of Milwaukee. And then I got CT here, up and coming. CT Grindhard CT here, up and coming artist out of Milwaukee as well. But it felt real good to have them be a part of what's going on.
Yeah, I don't really hear Milwaukee in the conversations when it comes to music. What is something you feel like people don't know about Milwaukee artists that they should know?
I mean, a lot of Milwaukee artists are very talented because we're stuck between two coasts, right? You got the West Coast, you got the East Coast, and then really you got the third coast down south. So you everything that happens in music passes through the Midwest. So it's like you stuck in between, so your ears here and this, your ears here and that. And then you go through your own real battlefield stories of life. And a lot of that stuff be a soundtrack to what we experienced growing up in the Midwest, right? So your pen game got to be tight because it's a lot that happens. So it's a lot of different things to talk about because it's a lot of traumatic things and a lot of bad things. Like you got Chicago right there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people from Chicago moved to Milwaukee, you know. So
Do you feel
it's
like do you feel like you could have tasted the success that you have tasted if it wasn't for moving to out to LA or Texas?
hell no, not at all. That's a place where it's a short-lived success. I mean, no shade to Cuckoo Cal. He should have never stayed. When he took off back in the day with his record, he should have just kept going. But you know, life got him to where it had him, and then he stayed there. A lot of artists that Eric Benet, you know, when I was a kid, he taught me how to play the piano. He only lived 4 blocks away from me, so he used to live next door to my buddy Travis, and we used to go over there to play the piano. And you see, Eric left. He ain't never came back. I mean, he go back and visit his family, but and again, he a legend in the R&B field. He could be a lot bigger than what he is, but you know, it is what it is. But I would have never experienced the stuff I experienced if I would have stayed there. No, not at all.
Sure. You've seen some very amazing things, especially every time I see you, you're always just, I don't know what word men use, but glam, gold and just lots of gold and shiny things. So yeah, would you say
Right.
that's what makes Sean Kiez who he is?
Yeah, I like gold. That's the king's gold. Like in Africa, all the great kings, they wore gold and real diamonds. So that's my aesthetic. A lot of people do platinum and white gold and all that, but I don't really get down like that. I'm a gold guy.
Okay, I could probably learn something from you too. Start wearing some more gold so I can feel, wealthy.
And then if you ever fall on hard times, the value of gold is always there.
Okay. All right. So
That's
far
it.
your year is doing amazing. Besides just dropping the Journey EP, I also saw you've been in the industry for 20 years. Okay. So, and this platform is only like maybe 2 years old. How was that? Was that a little awkward, or do you feel like you kind of just fit in just right?
But on the radar, I think I fit in just right. I mean, lyrically, because it was like a Texas takeover. Lyrically, a lot of people ain't dealing with me lyrically.
Okay.
You got to really come with that pen game, because when I think about a real lyricist, I'm thinking about Andre 3000. I'm thinking about Talib Kweli. I'm thinking about Nas. I'm thinking about Jay. I'm thinking about the real lyricists. You know what I mean? So I play with you and make a can't stop tipping, shake that ass and do whatever. But when we talking about that pen game, I cut your ass up.
So you feel like they wasn't even like on your level with that?
No, not at all. If you go back and listen to all those other people, they ain't really talking about nothing. And I say that for real. Like, come on, man. Y'all kids. They kids. They
about that because I'm talking to somebody that was almost you said signed to the label, Death Row label.
But Death Row, I was a kid. I was a teenager then. So, but it didn't go through because my pops pulled me back, like literally, because I had a cousin out there. They all bloods, and they, I could say this publicly. It is what it is. But I was around all the B dogs, and he was in with Suge, and then they all like grew up around the same area, so they all knew each other. And then I'm young. My pen game was strong then. You get what I'm saying? But I really meant what I was doing because that was what I was exposed to at that time. I was ignorant to the fact that, life is life, and you could really get trapped inside the stuff you don't want to be trapped in.
No, that's right. But I feel like with these younger artists, like, do you ever kind of just get irritated, especially being, on a platform like that where these artists aren't talking, real street stuff and they just kind of just saying whatever flows? Like, does that maybe like inspire you, or it's just like, nah, we need to go back to the original times?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true too. But, not to date myself to say original times, but I think that a lot of the artists, it's flattering that they try to mimic it, but that deep down they're not about that. Mm-hmm. Like even some of the mainstream acts now, like I know a lot of them in person, they really not like how they try to be. So I have to find myself being nicer to them because I know that they're really not like that. You get what I'm saying? Because it's entertainment, but when you really come from that and been exposed to that pretty much your whole life. And then that's what helped me in business too. I deal with pretty much some of anybody and everybody, honestly, in this industry. So it helps me guide through and navigate just from those experiences of my background coming from the world that I came from.
Yeah, that's
You know?
interesting. I always want to know if it was me, I would just kind of be like, dang, like, can we go back to talking some real stuff?
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of them are scared to be real because everything now is a facade. You know, everybody got emotional disorders, and no disrespect to nobody, but it's easier for people to text, type, and tweet versus to have a conversation. So
Right,
when you put them face to face with really having a conversation and put that mirror, they can't do that.
right. Well, go ahead. Let me go ahead and tell the people this. Make sure you guys check out the Anya Bull music video. Um, yeah, very great. Well shot. Had a story behind it.
Thank you, thank you. We're
Yeah,
talking about that toxic love that we all experienced before. If you've ever been in a relationship, I'm sure everybody experienced that at some point.
of course. So let me go ahead and help you sell the numbers real quick. What message or theme do you aim to convey through your music?
Well, the messenger thing, I want people to be able to find the good in it. And even in the pain of it all, I want them to be able to express their own pain or get out whatever they need to have. Like I don't necessarily make pain music. I just make life music, I feel. Because I never really come the same way. I dance around and talk about different topics. So I want people to be able to just find a groove, find a good time when it's time to vibe. They stressed out, they can pop this in, they having a good time, they got records for that. They about to close a business deal, you got scared money. You about to go to the strip club, I got stuff for you on that. You know what I'm saying? You want to take them to church and be inspired to do something bigger and better, I got records coming for that. You know what I mean? So I think that I just want people to remember me as a vessel, and I just want to be able to pour myself out to make sure that I do my due diligence.
Right. I love the theme for Journey, especially with the cover. I believe that's you at a younger age, covering that. Do you feel like that was a reset for you? Do you feel like you got everything off your chest that you wanted to release with that project?
Not everything off my chest, and it was a reset. Like since my last release, my dad died. I took a break. I had to take a break, and it made me reflect deeper. Like, damn, if I die, what will I have to leave behind? So I had to give people my timeline up until today, and then someday was the answer to my timeline, and we got more bigger records coming along the way, as well as some other stuff too. But it made me reflect from that experience to be like, okay, well, I have to leave something behind that's tangible. You get what I'm saying? All I got left behind from my dad was like bills and ashes. You know what I mean? So I don't want to do that to mine. I want to be able to leave a good legacy and a good and for other people as well.
That's
It's some good experience. He wasn't just no terrible guy, but just I want to. That's why it inspired that.
and he was the one that held your hand when you first started doing music, right?
Yeah, he was a musician too. Yeah, yeah.
Did he ever
So
make
I'm second generation music, first generation music business.
Did he ever make it far as he wanted it to make it, you think?
No, my dad, he took the business route. He could play any instrument. He had a band and all that stuff, but he took the business route. He was the first African American in Wisconsin to own a staffing agency. So
Wow.
he employed most of the ghetto during that time. And then, he retired from that, got
Wow.
old, passed
I
on.
love to hear everybody in your family's entrepreneurial spirit. I mean,
Yeah.
that's very powerful to have.
Hey, you got to get that dollar, man. You got to help the people. See, the main thing, the most important thing in business, you got to create businesses where you help people directly
Hmm.
in business to be a direct asset to people.
Right. Well, that definitely answered one of my questions on what you've learned in the industry so far. So I want to ask you, what are you planning on doing with your future? Like, what's next for Sean Kiez? Some things you want to throw out there.
Well, what's next now? I got some more records that's on the way. We still doing a rollout for the journey and then still promoting someday. But I got some wonderful big records coming. You catch me at some shows. I have all those posted soon.
You were at
Just
South
gonna
by
keep.
Southwest, right? You did South
I
by.
was at South by Southwest. Yep, yep. We did South by Southwest. I was out there. I just went to the events this year. I didn't perform this year. I just went to the events. I did a lot of networking because I took my break and I didn't want to just jump back out there. I wanted to warm back up just to get my feet back wet
Right.
and then build everything back.
That's
Yeah.
lovely. This was an amazing conversation, Sean Kiez. I learned so much about you, and that's what I really, wanted to
Yeah.
know about your journey. And any last words for people that are about to click play on their Journey EP after watching this interview?
Whatever dream you got, whatever goal that you set, don't stop no matter what. Keep going. This is all your journey too. So from start to finish is up to you to get to that next level. And the journey never stops. It always continues.